Anyway, I wanted to take a look real quick. I'm assuming, or yeah, there's a few new comments on that crit build Gunwitch video. Alright, let's see. Let's do the Bling King. Lag doesn't really matter too much in the Bling King, I don't think. Yeah, just join back up, Stavion, unless your system is down. Oh, you're lagged out in Bastille still? There's definitely, you know, Steam is always, it's funny how it works, but some games you play on Steam has just an amazing co-op connection. Oh, I'm not sure, Omni. I just looked to see if there was new ones. I didn't actually read any of the comments. Yeah, I think Bastille crashed on us last time too, didn't it? Last week? Dude. PJ, I played with you for hours today, dude. Hours. I don't play with anyone for that long. Quit joining. It's starting to get irritating. Give other people a shot. Anyway, Steam's co-op connection is funny. Like with Orcs Must Die, or Orcs Must Die 2, the connection was awful. And, I don't know. I think it's... I've said it before, but I think it's just a big conspiracy on Steam to screw over indie developers that don't pay the money that that some of the bigger names pay. I don't know. It's probably ridiculous to think so, but it just... There's Stavion. Awesome. It just seems odd that it's always the indie game that has the bad connection. You know, it's never the, you know, the big box game. Oh, Gilthanes, you can't even tell me you didn't get a Betsy egg before. Now, I didn't get one on the PlayStation, and I wished I would have. I ended up blowing all of my Wyvern tokens on just random stupid stuff that I didn't need, and I'm like, ah, to hell with it. I got Betsy on the PC. I don't need it on the PlayStation. But I wish now that I would have. Now, this particular map, I find the Poison Dark Towers don't get along real well on this section right here. So, I don't know if it's just my placement or whatever, but if I go archers, if I go 5 archers right here, the lane is weak. This will be the weakest lane right here. The lane is weak, but it does hold up. And if I put PDTs down there, they get smashed by the ranged mobs. Parker, you can't say that you play with me for 5 minutes, dude. We were in that onslaught for almost 2 hours. I was in that onslaught for about 3 hours. I know you were in there for at least 2 of it. So saying you only played for 5 minutes is ridiculous. Alright, what am I missing? Oh, up here. Now, you can still do a PDT here. You get enough room to burn the baddies in this lane before the ranged mobs get to you. This is a modified, speaking of Scarecrow, this is kind of a modified version of his AFK build just for grinding this map on regular Nightmare 4. Black bars again. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure that you know, Gilthane's just mentioned. Gilthane's mentioned that he didn't have the Betsy pet, which I'm surprised. You've been playing for so long. It amazes me you don't have the Betsy pet, or you just never got it. Nah, Sector PJ's good. He's gotten, like I said, he's gone from item power 300 to item power 700 today. So he's being greedy. Let's see, what am I missing? I'm missing auras and protons. Scarecrow don't have it either? Oh my god. Yeah, I wasted the Wyvern tokens on it. Which, I mean, it does look cool. You know? This lane is always... With the smaller Serenities now, this lane is... bothers me. It's like you get such small benefit if you split the lane. So the hell with it. I'm just going to go... We're just going to dedicate a Serenity to each lane. Yeah, I hear you. It was the last thing I got. I think. Well, I mean, obviously the last thing I did was dump all of my tokens on pet levels and random stuff. Let's see, and that leaves me 240 left. Which is what? 1, 2, 3. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 entrances. So I'll still be able to do a little proton in here. Let's see, for this lane... I'm going to go 60. And then since this lane is the weakest lane, I think I'm going to go 60. And then that's going to leave me only 120 left for 3 lanes. So I can only go 40 on each lane, which this lane shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'd like to be able to have a little more DU for this lane, but I'm sure it'll probably be alright too. It does have the PDT in the mix there now. And then this lane will be a little bit weak. This lane still is going to have a lot of archers firing into it, plus that PDT firing into it, so I'm not overly concerned. And somehow, I managed to come out with 1 extra green mana. How did that happen? How did I get an extra? Stavion is now John Cena. Alright, good enough. Let's just get it rolling here. You guys know the routine. Collect the gold and win. I don't know, Blitzing Wolf, has it been going that long? It's actually... we're coming up on 2 hours. I don't know, sometimes I'll go for an hour and a half, sometimes I'll go for 4 hours. It's random. I'm definitely going to knock out the 5. Yeah, man, we got lag spikes again here, too. Did I collect it? Or did someone else collect it? I think somebody else grabbed that one, that's alright. As long as somebody got it. Where are you, little gold spawns? Here's one. I don't know if I could pick a favorite pet. Parker, you're next week, man, next week. Like I said, I've given you more time today than I've given anybody in months. So next week, man, I got to mix it up. I can't just let one person monopolize the day. I mean, look what you did in the... Look what you got in the Onslaught map today. I mean, you were there for a good 20 waves. That had to have been some fat loots for you. Yep, I'm not even paying attention to gold drops. I guess maybe I should keep an eye out, huh? Actually, you guys took care of it, so that's good. Giraffe on a treadmill in DD1 and the Shinobi Kitty in DD2. all the treadmill, you know, all those treadmill pets were just badass. In DD1, I don't know what, I don't know if I could say a favorite. I could tell you that my, you know, obviously the genie was so powerful to have on your DPS character. I think the genie probably got the most hours logged. Yeah, Omni, I didn't have as much time as I did the other day, but I did another 25 waves, I think it was today, Onslaught AFK. I got this hair up my ass about watching Game of Thrones again. I know I talked to you about that yesterday in that Onslaught. I made it through the entire first season yesterday while in AFK and Onslaught. And I started watching season 2 today. This is the only thing that really has a chance to make it through, I think, is the Explodinator, so I'll just take care of him real quick here. You know, I've watched it before, and I stayed up to speed all the way through this current season that just ended, actually. But my problem with Game of Thrones is, although I really, really like the, you know, I think it's an awesome show, I played too many video games while watching it. So I missed, like, the first, say, 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, I binge watched over the course of a week or two. Vikings is awesome. That's actually one of my favorite shows. And, you know, although it's, you know, the whole Ragnar, I can't pronounce it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Although Ragnar is, you know, there's not a whole lot of set facts, having it be an actual historical figure is pretty awesome. You know, Ragnar could have actually existed at one time. And, I mean, how badass is that, you know? I mean, come on. Vikings is awesome, though. It doesn't come... The new season for it doesn't come out until January, I think. January or February. But it's definitely a good show. And they, you know, well, I'm not going to say anything. If you're just on season 2, I'm not going to ruin it. But it's a good show. No doubt about that. But yeah, anyway, with Game of Thrones, that's my problem with it, is I binge watched it, and I just missed a lot. You know, I mean, I've watched every single episode, but I didn't really pay close attention to every single episode. And there's, you know, obviously that's a show with a lot of little hidden facts here and there, and I missed most of them. You know, I spent years, you know, the wife watches TV, and she's got her shows that she likes to watch. And I spent years ignoring the television and playing video games. And then I think The Walking Dead was probably the one that got me reinterested in a TV show, period. And, like, at the same time that I started getting interested in The Walking Dead, the Vikings show started coming out, and I thought it was just kick-ass. So I watched both of those. And then I ended up watching a bunch of other shows in the mix randomly. You know, that, well, Vikings, of course, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, The Fear the Walking Dead. I even watched that low-budget Walking Dead ripoff, the sci-fi one. I can't remember what it's called. The one with the dude with the big nose. So what do you guys think? There's Sector. Speaking of The Walking Dead, who is it? Who got their face smashed by Lucille? Now I'm in the same boat there, Scarecrow. I read all the comics, the Walking Dead comics. Obviously in the comics, Glenn is the one who got it. Yeah, Z Nation, that's the one. I actually even watched that. Now that one was, there was a lot of cheese in the mix with that one, but... So the, speaking of The Walking Dead, you know, I never got into the Breaking Bad. I think the reason I never really got into it is the U.S. is being overrun with meth heads. Methamphetamines has become such an issue in the U.S. over the last several years. And I see, being in the casino business, I see it. You see all the tweakers come out late at night and sit there jamming on their slot machines, and one leg completely still and another leg bouncing all around. Parker, give it a rest. Jesus, dude. Anyway, so I never got into that show just because of that, because I see so many tweakers all the time. And I've actually known some people that ended up, their lives have really gone downhill because of crystal meth. And just because of that, obviously that's not, you shouldn't base a show, whether or not you're going to watch a show off of that. But just because of that, I never really got into the Breaking Bad. Now, I watched most of the first season of it. And, like, the wife was giving me shit. She's like, don't you see enough of that at work? Because she works, she's into nursing, but she works late nights. So, I mean, she'll come into the casino and say hi, or, whatever, swing in. And, she sees it. All the tweakers everywhere. So I biased myself against the Breaking Bad just because of that. But yeah, anyway, as far as The Walking Dead goes, if you listen to all the conspiracy theorists out there, supposedly they filmed 6 episodes of this next season, and supposedly Glenn and Abraham both haven't appeared in anything other than the first episode of the season. So, based off of that, it would make you believe that it's either Glenn or Abraham that got the bat to the face. But, I mean, who really knows? I mean, AMC is to the point now where they like to play games with it, too. Gilthanes, I grew up in D.C., like, downtown D.C., I live out on the West Coast now, but, I grew up in the city, and there was, there was drugs all over the place. Way back when, the heroin was the big deal. I know heroin's made a bit of a comeback, but I was actually on the, I hate to say it, but I took advantage of the heroin addicts a little bit. Like, I bought my first car from some strung-out dude named Nicky, and it was like a $1,000 car or something. It was a piece of shit. But I paid him like $200 for it because he was jonesing for money. So, I mean, I made the best of the heroin addicts back in the day. But now with all the tweakers, it's just, I don't know. It's gloomy as shit seeing them. I don't think Glenn is going to go anywhere just because he's such a money, pardon me, I don't think Daryl will go anywhere because AMC owns Daryl. And he's a showstopper, I mean, he's a lot of people's favorite. Yeah, I mean, meth has been around since World War II. But I don't think it was a problem in the U.S. until, like, in the last decade, it seemed like it started really, really getting big.